What's going on, good people? I say an old tip to you all that are viewing this episode. Welcome back. And for you first time viewers, welcome to another week of Enlightenment and Uplift. I'm so thankful and happy to have you guys watching this episode. I'm very excited for what I have to give you guys. For some of you guys know this is a continuation of the first episode, Psychological Development of Kids. And once I finish up, we will segue into episode 2, the second episode, second week of this channel, which is titled, You Can Have All My Shine, I Give You the Light. And before I finish with the conclusion of Psychological Development of Kids, I will give a quick recap. I'm not about to retell the entire episode, but I will give a quick recap for those who may have missed episode 1. You can definitely go back. Please feel free to go back and watch episode 1 so that you have a full grasping of the lesson. And then, like I said, I'll segue into episode 2. Real quick, you guys see I'm dressed down today. First couple episodes I had on a suit and everything. Just, going with how I feel today. I always dress how I feel, dress comfortable. That's just how I've always been. You see I got on one of my hats from the black chair, repping the Bulls. I am an Illinois native, so I will always be until God calls me home, a diehard Bulls fan. My guy's doing pretty good right now, top for number 1 in the Eastern Conference. So without further ado, everybody, let's get this show on the road, or should I say, let's pick up where we left off. So, like I said, I was going to do a quick recap. Last week's talk basically emphasized different variables about the psychological development of children. And with the 2 excerpts that I shared with you all, the basis for everything basically was broken down into 3 components. First 2 would be environment and family. Now, when it comes to environment, of course, we know the nature of a child's home definitely has a direct impact on how they think and how they behave, especially with their peers. But it's not just the home, but of course our communities in which we live in, right? And what the excerpts talked about is basically just the different factors when it comes to government, social class, access to certain services and 24/7 amenities that have an impact on how much a child or how much a parent is involved with their child, right? And then, of course, the second part being family, not just how the parent behaves, but also who they have around their children, as well as the condition of the nature of the relationship between the mother and father, where they stand emotionally, mentally, as well as financially, and that also has a serious impact on the psyche development for a child as well. Like I say, please feel free to go and watch the first episode so you guys can get in full detail a little bit more about those 2 components. The last component, which I'll touch on and finish up with today, is the inner self, guys. So of course, environment, family, they can't control. Inner self, to an extent, they can't control, but they definitely can have a control part on the reactive part, right? How they react to how they are discovering themselves, things they're learning about themselves as they they're coming of age, right? And so going back to the 1958 Child Development Survey, in 1970 British cohort study, social class and level of education, right? Things that can contribute to a lower IQ score, right? Things like a low birth weight, parents in manual job positions, greater material disadvantage, also can contribute to higher scores in behavioral problems. Again, these lead to family disruption. Childhood IQ is lower in those currently in manual occupations and less educational wealth. So typically persons who have a childhood IQ are those who come from backgrounds where their parents or they themselves probably work in manual occupations and didn't get to attain as much education-wise as maybe some other people did. Lastly, high child IQ can result in less physiological distress, and then low child IQ will result in behavioral problems and increase the risk of psychiatric disorder. In conclusion, low IQ from ages 10 to 11 can result in a child being antisocial as well as becoming attention deficit. Now, these things do not conclusively make or break a child's IQ or their learning ability or style or anything of that nature, but they are variables that do have an impact, properly mixed with other variables like the family environment and other things that are associated with the development of a child's mind that have impact on how they comprehend information, how they receive information, and how they break it down, and how they tend to transfer it as well. So please, God, I hope that you all learned something and take heed to what I was able to share with you all today and last week. And again, if you didn't get a chance to watch the first episode, please go back and do so that you can effectively bridge together the information that you've gotten today. Moving on to episode 2. Again, going back to the title, You Can Have All My Shine, I Give You the Light. This stems from one of my favorite songs called Illuminate. Illuminate means to shed light upon. This is a song by Ab-Soul. He's in the same music group and camp as Kendrick Lamar, TDE. They both have songs where this phrase or melody is used in 2 of their songs on separate projects. So for as I said before, the Ab-Soul song is called Illuminate off of his Control System album. And then for Kendrick Lamar, off of his Section 80 project, the song titled ADHD is where you'll find that melody. And I honestly, I feel like if you guys like any type of intellectual, spiritual, or even conspiracy type of rap, I think you might find some interest in the styles that they have, especially Ab. So he's very, very deep. But that's where this topic title comes from. This is a bit of a more of a self-motivation talk. Me giving you that uplift, right? I mentioned in my intro that this channel was all about enlightenment as well as uplift. So not only will I tend to give you talks about things that you may not know about and bring awareness to certain situations, but also just uplift you like your preacher would on a Sunday, right? Or even some of the podcasts that you all may listen to. And please, guys, if you have other podcasts, like I said, I will be sharing with you soon my podcast. But if you guys have podcasts that you feel like are beneficial to you, that could help me out, that could are similar, maybe I can learn from, definitely please share those in the comments below. But believe in yourself, right? This episode, this talk is for me to give you the okay, the permission to be yourself, to be the greatness that is within you, to show it. Let it be full-fledged, right? Believe in yourself, and you will not believe the achievements that you can accomplish. Many of us have a mission, a life mission or a goal, and tend to create a plan. A lot of times that plan doesn't always go accordingly, right? But I know we all maybe have made at least 1 or 2 instances in life where we've somewhere gotten along the line, gotten derailed, sidetracked, but we continued and persevered on to accomplish that mission, and saw ourselves doing stuff that we didn't think we could do, right? Whether it was a part of the plan or not, or we just didn't think it was possible. You look back and you realize that, okay, you did something else that was good along with what your plan was or your mission. So just always have faith in yourself, and always believe that no matter what, no matter how dark the day is, that like I said in the movie Dark Knight, the having a brain fart here, you guys. The night is darkest just before the dawn, right? So basically everything will get worse before it gets better, right? An old saying I'm sure some of you have heard before. Michael Jordan, many of us know him as the greatest player of all time in terms of basketball. A lot of us recently got to learn a lot about him more from the Last Dance documentary that came out last year at the start of the pandemic. But I've always liked Jordan, not just for his play style, but also his philosophy and the way he thinks, the way he approaches the game of basketball as well as life, kind of like a bit like Kobe Bryant. He said at the end of his Hall of Fame speech that limits, like fear, are often just an illusion. All right, we often create these hindrances and obstacles in our mind that are not reality. A lot of times we have a goal or something in mind to do, and we tend to put a halt on it before we even get started. I myself included have started this channel the idea of it and the inception of it years ago. But I waited and hindered myself because of an illusion of fear, because I didn't have, everything else that everyone had in terms of the graphics, right? And the showmanship when it comes to how to present these videos. I felt like I couldn't do that, right? But we can't let that stop us. You got to start where you at and keep going, and in due time things will get better. You've got to realize who you are, right, as a child of the Most High, right? No one in this time, in this life, plant, animal, or human life, is created for no reason at all. No matter the time frame in which we're here, right, or what we seem to accomplish from our own perspective or from the perspective of our loved ones and peers, you have a divine purpose, and you have to realize that what makes your spirit tick naturally, that's what God designed you to do, right? And you got to realize that and walk and live in your purpose every day, no matter what. Always hold your head high. Never hang it. Never hang your head. Always hold it high. You are the greatest version of you, meaning there's no one like you. No one like you. One of my favorite comedians of today, Deion Cole, said that there may be people out in this world that are similar to you. There's no one in this world that thinks and acts just like you do. All right, some of us, again, me myself included, I've had people tell me I look like somebody, right? I've lived in 6-7 different states in my lifetime, and I've definitely seen people in the streets of Indianapolis that strongly resemble somebody that I was friends with in New York. And I'm thinking like, oh, what are you doing down here, right? But I tell myself, nah, that ain't them. Because John in New York has a particular personality and a walk and a demeanor and a thought process that maybe the lookalike here in Indiana just doesn't have. They just have a similar facial feature. So again, you're unique in spirit and extravagant in nature. And that's not to butter you up or to gas your head up or anything like that. I'm being serious. I'm being totally serious. Even the smallest voices sometimes make the loudest noise. What does that mean, Zach? Well, I'm glad you asked. Sometimes the person with the smallest or the littlest to say, maybe not the deepest voice, can have the most impact on the world just by the conviction or just by the passion or just by belief in themselves and what they say. So always remain convinced and convicted in who you are, in your God and in spirit, as well as in your culture. All right. And then I just to wrap it up, guys, I want to share a quick story about you can have all my shine, I give you the light. I give you the light. I give you the light, meaning I give you permission to shed light and to be a beacon of light unto those who may be still left in the dark. I have a mantra that I say every day. Today you will be great. There will be obstacles and hindrances in the midst of being great, but you will be great today. You will not allow negativity to manifest itself inside of you to influence those around you. Only the positivity, because it is the positivity within you that will allow others to see the greatness within themselves. And it is the greatness within them that will allow them to shed light on those who are still left in the dark. So again, understand the pattern. You have to always guard your energy, guard your spirit. Make sure there are no negative thoughts in your mind that can manifest into action, into belief, into habit, right? Always rearrange those negative thoughts with positive ones, with thoughts of abundance and not of scarcity, right? And that positive energy that you carry along with you day in and day out will translate into you speaking greatness into people, because no matter how bad they're feeling, they can't counteract the positive and great energy that you have going on. And so what happens is you tend to extinguish their negativity, right? And then they see the greatness within themselves, and it's kind of like that old commercial where you pass it along. Right now, that positive energy that you had transferred to someone else, seeing the greatness within themselves, can now allow them to go and do the same thing that you just did, which is shedding light upon somebody who's probably in a way darker spot than what they were before they had a conversation with you or interaction with you, right? So always remain positive in yourself and understand that, again, no one is like you, and you have a greatness and a gift and an imagination that this world is in need of, right? And lastly, I'll just finish with a quick story. I was born a pound and 13 ounces, premature, hernia, eyes shut. I could barely open my eyes, and didn't have the faith of the doctors who were operating on me that I was going to make it. They thought assumed that I was gonna die. And as we all know, you never assume, because you make an ass out of you and me, right? But God, right? Excuse me. But God had a divine purpose, divine intervention, along with the faith of family. I'm here 27 years later. And I share that story because I want you all to know that it's going to be some tough times. It's going to be some moments where nobody has the faith. But you got to remain solid. You got to remain steadfast in the mission, in what you believe in, no matter what. Because I truly believe, even at birth, that I had a level of perseverance that physically on the conscious level I can't fathom, but spiritually I had it when God formed me in my mother's womb, right? And you have that perseverance as well. I believe it. And I'm pretty sure you have shown it in some point in time in your life. Maybe right now you're not there like you were before. It's okay. I was there a couple of years ago where I didn't always have this light shining out of me, right? But I did a lot of self-reflection, meditation, and growth and maturation, which is what you're going to have to do as well. And it's always going to be a process. Don't ever think that you're going to be there. It's always going to be a process. But I want to wrap it up, you guys. Share the song that I talked about. I do not own any rights to the music at all, but I wanted to share this just so you guys can hear it a little bit. If you guys want to go and listen to it, please, I encourage you to. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ashe, Otep. Peace.